Hello, everybody. Please take your seats. Super happy to welcome you to our hackathon, AI Lithuania Hackathon, and we have amazing co-organizers with us today, Linkedist, and obviously the Artificial Intelligence Association of Lithuania. Super excited to see all of you here. We have amazing partners which help us make this whole thing happen. We have my son University. We also have Startup Wise Guys. And we also have two sponsors. We have the Witness Fusion and Baltic Sandbox Ventures. So once again, welcome you all to the hackathon. We're going to have an amazing day today. Now I'm going to pass the mic to Karolina from Linkedist.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. So again, during this last week, we had the pleasure of working with a lot of young, bright minds. From Linkedist, we actually helped with the startup track. So during this last week, we had people from 8 teams. 4 of the teams are coming in together already. And what we've been working on was these solutions that we will hear about today that are in one or another way connected with AI. And also we had Startup Wise Guys, we had mentors from the teams, and also we had, of course, technical mentors as well. So I'm happy to see that we have around 8 teams today, and looking forward to the pitching sessions. And also wanted to mention that if you're sharing something about today, we would like to see that. So make sure to tag Linkedist, make sure to tag the association's page on LinkedIn or Facebook, and we'll be very happy to see what you're sharing today. So I hope you're enjoying the event. We will now give a round of applause to Linas from the association to tell you more about the task track.
So this year we had quite an amazing hackathon because the third time that we organized this event, we finally scaled up, and not only for the simple tasks and like few tracks, we grew up to like a quite a larger event, and today we'll have a quite program, and we will have the panel discussions, we will have the startup pitches, and later we will have the awards ceremony. So in this case, the different thing from the previous years, we will have the starting pitching competition, and nevertheless we continue all of the transition, and we'll reward all of the participants from our capital competition tracks. So we hope so that all of you will have an excellent time, and let's enjoy this event. And now I would like to invite and give it a word to Deividas.
Hello everyone. So I want to invite, we have today 2 panels. The first one is probably the most focused on AI startups. So how to create successful AI startup in Lithuania. And I want to invite our panelists, Simona Vasilija Kudavska, CEO at Profession 42, Arnas Krūvas, CEO of Legency, and Domas Valinskas, co-founder of Elo. So yeah, let's take a seat and talk about it. We need another microphone. So we don't have a lot of time, 25 minutes, so just start from like easy questions. So how to create successful AI startup in Lithuania?
I think it's the most difficult question. I think so, especially that it's Saturday morning also, the day after Friday. I think it is the best question. It would be not how to create a successful startup, but how to create a startup which you can enjoy. And because when you are believing in an idea, if I will be speaking very stereotypically, but I think the most important part when you're starting something that you and your team and everyone surrounding you have very strong belief in the idea, because it is the first step, which is a must to create something successful. So maybe for me to have.
Yeah, maybe Alex, you can a couple of sentences what your company is doing that.
Okay. I'm a cardiologist, so I'm declaring my background. So I'm not a data analyst, I'm not a ML engineer. I'm a physician, and our startup is working in heart ultrasound automation process using artificial intelligence. So we're trying to eliminate all mechanical work in the echocardiography workflow, and we are using for it artificial intelligence.
Simone, maybe you can tell how to create a successful startup.
Hi all. I don't think that I can say what is the recipe for doing that. But what I can do, I can tell our story. So this startup started actually 10 years ago, when we had our first startup. Our first startup was a gaming company. So we started a completely different industry than we are now. And we created a game that was in Lithuania. It was very successful. We had more than 8 million downloads, which was a success in Lithuania, but not in the rest of the world. And we started doing AI experiments when we were doing the game, and we were solving our own problem. So our problem was balancing, and the game was two sides that were battling each other, and our problem was how to balance the economy of the game and how to make sure that one side is not stronger than the other, or like gamer says, OP against the other. So this was the problem that we were solving then. And after some time, Kes and I separated for some time, we worked at Linkedist for some time. And while I was working there, we were going for a sprouts, just to talk about the possibilities that we have in the future and what kind of company we can create together after some time again, because we knew that we want to do something once more. And then Kes came and said, like, I have a client, and they want to use AI to automate level creation. And this was the very beginning of our company. And our first product was to apply artificial intelligence to automation of level creation. And that was the beginning. And we were very successful. We automated the level creation and cut the time from 2 days to 2 minutes. So we could create 1,000 levels for one game in a week. So that was a huge improvement in the pipeline. And but then we faced a problem. We understood that to sell this kind of product was hard because it is not scalable. So we needed to find a way how we can serve our customer with more scalable product. And this is how we ended up now in the entertainment industry and more graphics and graphics automation. So now what we work with high quality 4K quality, and we automate graphics creation. It can be movies, it can be paintings in high quality. And what is the difference between, let's say, Mid-Journey that is now super booming and DALL-E and Stable Diffusion? So the main difference is that we target more in the production stage. So that means that you already know what you need to deliver. You have a really detailed list of requirements of what you need to deliver. If you have ever tried to play with Mid-Journey, DALL-E, or tried to do a Balenciaga video, like everybody now, I think, so you know how hard it is to do when you have a certain set of requirements that you need to meet. So in this case, those technologies does not work. But when we come in is when you already have a director's vision, you already know what you need to deliver, you need to do it in high quality 4K. And this is where we can start working with our clients. So this is our long story.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's very inspiring. Thomas, maybe you can tell us about yourself and how to be successful in the environment.
If only I knew how to be successful in the recipe of success, right? So yeah, I've been building enterprise software my whole career, and enterprise media products, which we sold a few years ago. And I had to start again recently. So actually, I had the very same question: how to create another successful venture, and started a few. Actually, one of the first questions that come to mind now: are we really still talking about creating successful AI startups? I mean, which companies do you classify as AI startups today? Because like 5 years ago, it was way easier to classify as AI company or AI startup. And I think that the threshold is changing now from developing your own stuff to utilizing what's already out there in the market. And so the entry point is kind of easier. It's easier to classify as one, but at the same time, the competition is of course way more complicated when it comes to attracting talent or creating something really unique, as well as understanding that when it comes to your idea, there's probably someone in the market with 10 times or 100 times more money trying to do the very same thing. Or maybe you have the arbitrage of time until OpenAI or someone else starts doing the very same thing that you want to do now, or someone will enable their users to create something that you're now creating. So I think that's the challenge and the tough question. I won't ask for what it takes to create a successful one, but I know the risks of other stuff coming from there.
So in that topic, we like AI is booming right now. High journey, ChatGPT, like millions of users. How does this affect your startups? You all start like not 2 years ago, like mostly 10 years ago, or it's also like how many years? 4 years ago, yeah. Once you start, used to be that previously worked like many years later for AI enterprise. How this boom is like affecting you? It's like give you like more investors looking at your startup, talking to you, and how like it's in general, or it's maybe this is only the bubble and sometimes first. What do you think?
Should I continue?
Yeah.
So I think that 10-ish years ago, when we were playing with the AI stuff, people were laughing at us and not believing that it will be a real thing. And of course now it's different because more and more the society, businesses, and so on can play with whatever AI tools are out there and then realize the potential. I keep downplaying the power of myself when it comes to comparing what we have now with, I don't know, handheld calculators. And then when the Photoshop was revealed, that is just kind of another shift in the technology sector that we will adapt to. But so it's kind of underhyping it or reducing the hype, but at the same time, it's probably not fair to compare the power of AI with software that we had previously, or I don't know, mobile phones, or even the internet. It's totally different. So the hype is there. It does not help with that acquisition and whatnot, but at the same time, it increases the attention from the customer side. Say, yeah, you know, we went through a lot of phases. We went through the big data phase and the blockchain phase, and then now. And the methodless phase, is it already over? I would say it's over. And now it's generative AI phase, so at the same time, it seems just another keyword that's booming, and we've seen quite a few of them in the past 10 years. So just another period. But the real business now remains the most important driving factor.
Yes, well, we recently had like huge investment for a startup, and like we want like I think 1 million, yes.
It was 1.1.
1 million to invest, which is like quite huge in Lithuania for like AI startup. So can you tell us more like, do you have like from Lithuanians, or there's also global investors who like to look at the startup?
This is the third investment in our company. So we actually created the company like 5 years ago, almost 5 years ago, already with investors. So we had them in our cap table for a very long time. And now we raised another round of 1 million. The majority of investors are with me. And however, we are talking with foreign investors for 5 years now. So, we talk with companies from America, from Europe, from Asia, different funds. And so what we feel now, like from the investment perspective, because now we are in this recession period. Earlier it was easier to raise because there were a lot more money to spare, and investors was taking bigger risks. So that means that you can have nothing, just a white paper, and something that might be working, and that was enough. You just show some beautiful slides, show a hockey stick, and this is enough. You have investment. Of course, in US it's easier to raise bigger amounts. In Europe, it is not as good of a situation because European investors they are more always was more cautious, and they have different requirements than in the US. But here, our all investors are now Lithuanian. So, however, in 2 years, we want to raise another round. So we already are talking with investors, so from everywhere. And our goal is now to prepare. Like, what kind of KPIs we need to meet in order to be prepared in 2 years to be attractive for them. And already you start talking 2 years before we will raise, because you already want to have a warm contact. You already want to be creating the relationship and make sure that the funds that you are interested in now are available here. So this is a work that a founder must do in order to prepare for the round. And this is how we always did. So that I think that warm connection on the relationship with, creating relationship with investor really helped us to close this round.
So sorry to interruption. Maybe you can tell us a couple of these KPIs that like most global investors looking. Like Lithuania is not a huge market, but maybe you can tell us what they mostly looking at. Maybe everyone here.
It depends. It depends from the stage. So about what kind of stage do you talk?
Yeah, what do you have right now, like in general?
So yes, so now we are at seed stage start, and now our next stage is Series A. So for the Series A, to prepare for Series A, now there is a huge step that we need to take. And the majority of investors now, I think we talked with more than 10 Series A funds already. And the majority says that the most important thing is one is the team. So the complementary skills of the team. So that means that you have all the skills to deliver what you are saying you want to do. So you need to have a salesperson or commercial person, you need to have a product person, you need to have a marketing person, you need to make sure that you have a skill, complementary skills in your team. And the investor that comes can help the team. So this, there should be a match between you and the investor. So that means that you're looking not just for money, you actually are looking for knowledge. And that investment fund should feel that they can help you in a certain way. So they can come with sales knowledge, with marketing knowledge, they can come with industry knowledge, they can come with country knowledge. Let's say one investor I talked to yesterday, they are a US investor, so they already says to us that we are a gatekeeper to the US market. So do you want to go to this market, whether this kind of knowledge is relatable to what you want to do? So you are looking for this match. So after the team, there's of course revenue part. So revenue from what we have now, the kind of investment we have now can vary. It can be 1 million in recurring revenue, it can be 2.5 million. It really depends from annual recurring revenue. It really depends on the fund. And what they are really looking is the sales funnel. So that means that you have a repetitive sales funnel to repeat the sales constantly, and the speed. So that means that even though you don't have revenue now, but they see that your sales cycle is 4, 5, or 6 months. So they only can project that if they give more money, we will have more sales, the sales of the company will go up. So they really look at those three things. Of course, there are more, not just those, but those are the ones that at the moment, talking with 10 Series A investors, we see repeats between each company.
Thank you very much. Arni, tell us about like medical industry in general. It's highly regulated. You started like 4 years ago. So how it's like was last 2 years and this year's in general? How like when AI started like super booming, everyone started talking. How this changed like from the beginning when you started and right now when AI starts?
Yeah, I'd like a little bit add what Simona said about the investors. I think one of the most important things for the investors is attraction, revenue, and why I'm saying that, sometimes for me it's a little bit sad because when it is deep tech, deep R&D startup, you cannot expect, I can say the example, for example, this deep tech R&D startup, doing something with a huge regulation system, really what is something to put to the market. And after one and a half year, you are speaking with VC fund or received funding or seed funding. It depends on how much money you need to develop your product and etc. And they're asking, how many revenues do you have now? And I was sitting and I was thinking, do you understand something about this field? Do you have any idea how it's to make something in this field, how it is hard? And but looking back to these 4 years ago, yeah, it was absolutely a huge hype on AI, especially AI in medicine. It was really enough to have some slides, some MVP, a little bit working and showing some results, and it was really enough to get some funding. Yeah. Now it's really a huge difference, and it is really much more harder to get funding. Now we're seeking, and in the beginning of the next year, we'll try to get a Series C level funding. And because our journey looks like that we in 2020 we got receipt funding, and we had some projects. And recently, last year, we got the EIC Accelerator funded, blended finance with the grant and equity part, which must be together with private investors. And in total is 4.5 million euros. So yeah, I think the biggest challenge when you're doing something in medical field with AI is to meet regulation process, because also last year we received CE mark with a new regulation, because you know that it's a huge change from MVP to MDR, and the regulation process is really very difficult and challenging. And I think on Monday we'll submit for the FDA to get FDA approval. So we're moving forward. We are moving to the United States market, which one I think is. For me, it was like a huge change when we went from Europe to United States, because it's absolutely different mindset approach, how they understand the AI field, the medical field, and it is really much more easier to communicate with them and to reach some goals.
Yeah, thank you very much. I have the two last questions, so if everyone can really shortly elaborate on that. So how is Lithuania startup like environment? Do we have enough talent? Do we have infrastructure? Maybe you can share like what is your experience like hiring the talent and finding them?
I think in Lithuania we have one of the best environments in Europe. We have really good conditions, governmental conditions, grants, some fundings. I think the biggest issue and bottleneck was especially 3-4 years ago for the very early stage ideas, because even it was a call for some grants, projects, you know, there is some part like I think it's intensivity or how intent the government cover the budget, but despite that, the startup need to have some part like 30% or 40% to cover the all expenses. So it was really challenging. Now it's a little bit changed. I think the huge change was in COVID-19 because they changed this part. So in general, I think in Lithuania the environment is good. Talking about the hiring, it's really challenging in terms of hire, for example, senior data analyst, specialist, or even software developer. It's really very challenging.
I think that the same. Now we are hiring here in Lithuania. We are finding the people. Well, we have our developer here from the audience. So now we find the people that we need. However, we understand that in the long term we will go to other countries as well. So because there are a lack of really senior people, and or the prices are not for the startups. So we have very talented people in few companies that can hire and offer really big salaries, and the startups with small investments are not capable to be on the same level. However, we have options, we have different kind of attractions that people that see the opportunity, they can join the startups and the startup community.
Great. Thomas, can you tell us, you are at I understand, yes?
Right.
Yeah, can you like elaborate on that, like, on hiring and how many talents?
I mean, it's probably the same like for everyone else, right? It's, the grants are there, even though it's more complicated to apply for them now. The requirements are tricky, which is fair. At the same time, there are other government incentives available, such as co-invest and whatnot. So there are leverages in the market that other countries cannot offer. At the same time, we're catching up with the Western Europe in terms of salaries, of course, and then the funding rounds here in Lithuania are lower, as discussed earlier. So that gap is probably the challenge, and of course, the universities started later when it comes to growing the talent. So it's hard to catch up when it comes to senior talent, as was said as well. But we'll have to figure it out, and of course, if possible, bring in more talent from other countries, or just rely on what we work with.
Okay, great. So the last question, maybe you can give advice for like the young startup founders here.
Yeah, don't worry about the AI part. That would be my advice, right? Just do something that creates value. We'll figure it out. AI is part of your tech stack, let's say, and you have to utilize it to create value to your customer. But that's the real thing: the value to the customer and your team, and not the AI bits.
Please.
I think that perseverance is very important, and our story was alone also because, well, there were very hard times. So there were times where we didn't have any money, where I didn't get a salary for a year. This is what you go through, and you really need to understand that you need to be strong, and mentally, not just physically. And those holes, they will be in the road. And what you see in beautiful picture is that, oh, it's so easy to do a startup, and you have this beautiful line going like that. It's completely false. And sometimes you have days where you just don't want to get up because you just don't want to start thinking about the problem that you have. So, but the next day you feel better, and then you go and you conquer. And this is very difficult as a startup and as a founder. that one is super hard. So you need to be prepared to face that and to answer the question whether it is worth it for you, because it's always easier to work for somebody else.
Yeah. And
I think my advice would be pitch as much as you can, especially in the early stages, because when you're doing that in the beginning, you can change your idea, shift your idea in much more cheaper way than you will do it after 3 or 4 or 5 years, because it will cost maybe $5 million or something like that. So don't be afraid to pitch your idea for everyone. And my advice in terms of pitching, the first pitch and the pitch must be done for your grandma, because if grandma don't understand what you are doing, no one understands what you are doing. So my advice would be like that.
so thank you very much, all participants. And talking about pitch, right now we have the pitch session that you can listen and evaluate. Thank you very much, everyone.
Ai, aha. Išjungi? Padėk man vieną čia. Kur čia tas? Dabar gyvai, 3 po to gale nebe. Okay.
All right, so I hope you got all inspired after this amazing pitch session, not pitch session, panel session, and now we're having a AI startup track pitching session. So the main rules are that we'll have 8 startups that are going to pitch today, and they will all have 3 minutes for the pitch, and also 2 minutes for Q&A session from the jury. And you're probably asking who is the jury? Yeah, so we'll have Karolina, CEO and founder of Linkedist, and also startup mentor. So applause to there. General partner and startup mentor, general partner at Baltic Sandbox, Matačiūnas. Žanas Andrakimovas, board member of the AI Association of Lithuania. We have a local jury member from ISL University, program director of entrepreneurship and innovation, Deividas. And last but not least, Thomas Monskers, tech entrepreneur and founder of AI. So actually, I know a fact, Thomas, that 6 or 7 years ago, we had probably the first AI hackathon, right, in Lithuania. Could you share a few moments of that hackathon? And also, I know that there was a startup there that is now.
Yeah, thank you for asking. And hello, everyone. So that was back in 2017. And in 2016, I had to hire a lot of engineers. And when hiring a lot of engineers, I sensed they all want to work in the ML AI field. And I thought, like, okay, but there's like no place to work in the app. Or actually, once I started digging deeper, there were a few, but maybe, I don't know, employing 50 people at most. So we wanted to sort of big motivation was just to do an event and foster everyone to work to put their brains into work within the AI field and see what happens with a nice goal. Maybe one day there would be, I don't know, a research center here and people could work and come up with LLM models or so. But so back when this event was a hackathon, it was around 200 people participating, lots of keynotes and some sort of training programs of how to work with models. And one company was born out of it, which is called Oxidant. It was a nice match with the winning team mixed with mentors, and they formed a startup later. And now they are a Series A stage startup doing lung cancer research and products for X-ray. So that was very nice, and I hopefully today or in the coming year we can see more and more startups coming out of this.
Thank you, Tom. So as you see, hackathons could be not just one thing, but you can also build a cool team there, find your teammates, and yeah, build a startup. So this is the order of how our startups, 8 startups who are going to pitch. And probably without further ado, Suit, welcome on stage.
Hello, everybody. And hello, so my name is Rock, CEO of Suit Fashion for Everyone. So, fashion as a topic is a pretty interesting one. Well, basically, my first idea today was what I'm going to wear today, and this is what I came about. But if we look about e-commerce, about businesses, they have a bit of a bigger problem. Basically, 30% of their e-commerce purchases were returned. And up there, you can see various articles who are raising alarm bells about this situation. And all those articles have one thing in common: shoppers. So let's say I'm going to one of our biggest retailers of fashion, Zalando. I just want a simple piece of clothing. I see 7,500 t-shirts. Okay, I want a large size with sleeves, round neck, and just a white t-shirt. 3,500 items. And up there, you can see various other competitors who are offering hundreds or even thousands of results. And for me, I'm not probably going to get into these things. I'm going to get tired. I will purchase more than I can have, and I'm going to just return. So basically, what are we offering? We're offering an application where people can mix, upload their own clothing based on and mix with our machine learning models, and afterwards their shopping will be so much easier. So this is a sneak peek of our modeling that we're creating today. Our model already can trace what item is it. It can label it, and afterwards it can already provide some of the results. So if we were talking about what's the market, our first conquest is UK market, which is 70 billion in fashion purchases. 4.2 of them were returned. 30% of the customers who were interviewed said that styling and bad descriptions were the reason why they returned the clothing piece, which makes nearly 600 billion British pounds. In America, I can tell you, this is 10 times the amount. Okay, so quickly, our business model. We will be providing to our application to users for free, and where they can get their clothes up and running, and afterwards they will become the data, precious data we will be collecting. From that, we're expecting, first of all, in-app advertisements, and afterwards, yes, so progress so far. We have several partnerships, some investments, and already some waiting lists. Yeah, we're setting apart with our style.
Time is up. Sorry, I will be
Yeah.
straight. Thank you. So, Jerry, what kind of questions do we have? Oh, yeah.
Yes, you have a moment to say a couple of words about your team and why is this team the one that can actually achieve?
Yes, the one. So, three gentlemen right here. Two of them are super talented developers, which covers a lot of bases of what we are working on. And myself from the business side, and we are really passionate about this project. All of us see the problem in the sphere we are right now. And by the works of we already have done, we have made huge strides already. So if someone wants to jump on board with us, you will see a lot of results in no time.
And can you elaborate a bit on the competition? It seems like a very competitive landscape.
Yes, so one thing that sets us apart from the established companies is that they are going to a little bit of an easier route, which is the sizing part, the sizing department, and of course a lot of people return due to size. But in the market, established market, nobody has set a system where clients themselves upload their clothing, and that we come up that to be the most precise app user preference point there is. We don't ask for what do you like, Chanel or Gucci. I never wore none of them, and I actually received one question from one app: do you like Chanel or Gucci? So yeah.
So just how that would work from consumer perspective? I upload this, and then what? And why would I not upload this? What kind of images? Pictures?
Yes, so basically at the very beginning, you will upload your own clothing into our platform, and you can use it every day to generate bits of pieces of your styling pattern. We will be getting your styling preferences, and for this, you will get styling recommendations. Afterwards, whenever you want to shop, your profile is already in class. With our partners, we will get you the best piece of clothing out of the thousands you saw in Zalando and Zara.
Thank you, Robert, and the team. Next up is the web finder.
Good afternoon, dear audience. I'm Matas, and I'm an SEO specialist. My day-to-day work consists of finding relevant websites for us to collaborate with to obtain backlinks. Why do we need backlinks? Well, because Google ranks or actually values backlinks, links from one site to another, as a ranking factor. So in order for us to increase our presence on Google, we need to build as much of them as possible. And the problem with the whole process is that it takes time because we need to find relevant websites. The thing with relevancy is that, for example, if we are a cybersecurity company, we will most likely not need backlinks from a travel blog, for example. And so it takes around 40 websites to obtain one backlink, and it takes around 10 minutes to research one website. And so here I present the Web Finder, which is basically our database, in which users can come to it and filter the websites by category, as well as the most important SEO metrics, such as DR, organic traffic, as well as the traffic location. Now, with the Web Finder, as you saw, the process is quite simple. The user takes only 5 seconds to get 200 websites, 1,000 websites. Doesn't really matter. It's a lot, and it takes just a few seconds. Now, as far as our competitors go, they all try to provide metrics and data about websites, but none of them accurately categorize websites, which is the most time-consuming part. Now, for the market itself, we evaluated that the total market is around $24 million annually, and the smaller part here, the S1, which we're initially aiming for, is around $1.5 million. As far as the business model goes, we have chosen to go for the freemium business model, meaning that some of our features will be free for all users, but you would need to subscribe monthly for the entire functionality. Now, a natural question may arise, why now? So with the recent development of AI technology, it has become a lot easier for us to categorize websites automatically, so without any manual input. Now, also, with the recent economic downturn, companies are cutting costs aggressively, and one of the main costs is, well, time wasting. Now, for our development plan, currently we're finishing to build out the MVP version 2, and we're going to try and find a product market fit. Once we do so, in the first quarter of this year, we are going to try and achieve 100 paid clients, and well, the rest is the future. Thank you for your attention, and I'm ready for some questions.
Could you say a couple of words? So, what did you achieve during the hackathon?
So, firstly, we built out a few more metrics, which were identified by the companies or representatives from the companies that we have spoken to. So that's one thing. So we have increased the accuracy of the categorization itself.
Could you tell us a little bit more about your target market and one of those companies?
Oh yes, so we target companies that are building at least 10 backends per month. So that's the main criteria. It can be a small agency and it can be a larger enterprise. So it doesn't really matter as much as they're building a lot of backends. So it would increase their efficiency.
So you showed some competitors here, and you showed that your advantage is categorization. Why they cannot do that?
Well, one of them is currently trying to do that, so Majestic, but the problem with them is that they, according to the research we conducted on like a sample of 1,000 websites, they only do so with like 40 to 50% accuracy, while we do so with 80+% accuracy because we're utilizing AI, and they're using quite a different methodology for that.
So why they do not use AI?
Well, I'm not really sure. That's for them to ask.
It's all there, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next, Muvelia.
So, hello. Our daily life is changing. It's changing because of the technologies. Now, majority of tasks of our workplace can be done without leaving the computer. Also, a large portion of our free time we spend sitting in just scrolling our devices. Physical inactivity, it is a huge worldwide problem. The majority of people are not taking proper care of their bodies. It harms our health, it lowers our productivity, and it lowers the value which we can create at our workplaces. At Modelio, we want to help companies to encourage their employees to be more physically active by exercising, to lower the risk to face various health problems. We will help to create supportive community inside the company to achieve balanced wealth together. Users will exercise with the help of AI. You can use your phone, your laptop, put it straightforward near you, and it will analyze you to the camera and will give you a feedback if you're doing exercise right or wrong, and it will calculate it. And if you would like to cheat, it's not possible, as you can see on the image. We will help our users to be active with the help of social motivation. You can see a Marius who competes with his colleagues to earn weekly reward, and all of them together can compete with other companies to show that their company is the leader of employee health and wellness. Additionally, to be even more engaged, our users will be able to exchange their collected points into various discounts provided by our partners. Companies also will be able to help with their public profiles, in which it will be visible how their employees is engaged, with whom company is competing, and their content. Our users is employees, and our buyers is the companies. Approximately our market in Europe will be 10 million yearly revenue and 50 million revenue worldwide. We will start with the market from Scandinavia and Baltic countries. Now we almost finished our MVP, and now we will test it with small companies.
when we will do next MVP, which will be GDPR compliant to be able to launch it into large enterprises. Also, we will add tracking of product and cycling, and then we will do the sales. So now we have 1 free and 2 paid plans. Majority of our competitors are oriented mainly on internal company challenges, where we want to challenge them with a social gamification, AI exercise assistance, and discounts marketplace. I'm a founder and middle is UX and UI designer. Thank you. Please check out our website and maybe you will register to become an early adopter. Thanks.
It seems to me that it is a very mature solution. So what did you do during the hackathon? What is the progress?
My progress is that I'm like 16 hours per day developing myself now. So because I do not have CTO on the team and I want to find CTO after I will launch my MVP one to be more mature, to find more mature CTO. I know all the day from 8 in the morning to 10 p.m. code.
Okay, I feel the pain. So why do you need an AI here?
I need AI to help people do exercises and help to motivate them and engage them, because you know the market, you know that content on demand is the main source of content that another companies is using, and it is not engaging. They calculate if a person is engaged by the time you watch a video. It's not works. Like on average, 5% of engagement in such platforms. Also like step challenges, it's low engagement. And in this case, AI now, human motion analysis technology brings about the possibility to engage user in a new way, to calculate how properly the user exercises and give them a lot of feedback.
So, if I may, so what do you need to keep on going?
I don't need to keep on going to find a CTO and to build my product more technically. So like finance, yeah.
So what do you need?
Amount? I will upload to you my slides on about design, but I want to do an MVP. I do not want to do it without an MVP.
Okay, what's up?
I just had a question about customers. So now we can see that customers are going to be companies. What about people, right? If B2C market?
I also have people who suggest me to do it like common app startups, but at this particular time it seems too complicated and too expensive to even try to do it, and it requires a big investment. It should be later. Thank you. Next up, Rubik.
Hello everyone, do we have any commerce professionals here? Great, guys, because today we are going to talk about the future of e-commerce. So I would like to travel back in time and tell a quick personal story. E-commerce is a complex business. Just imagine, I have to manage stock, talk to customers, create converting ads, but there is an elephant in the room, product listing. And just imagine, to put hundreds of products online, how much time you need for that? And then you need to generate descriptions that are appealing, and lastly, you need to translate the text into at least 3 languages. Yeah, I'm already stressed. So I wish there was one easy solution to manage all my product listing in just a simple task like ordering a bulk. There is Ruby, your one-stop e-commerce partner. So with Ruby, you can streamline the process of uploading your product cards into your e-store with AI-powered platform that helps to boost your productivity and grow organic traffic. Why now? So it's obvious, the demand for e-commerce is skyrocketing, and consumers are, they're receiving the benefits of it each and every day. And of course, there are AI tools that could provide new descriptions like we professionals could do right now. So while we're just talking right now, there are billions of dollars spent online and with more than 10 million businesses selling digitally, we are confident that we want to enter the market and shape e-commerce. Our target audience is mainly IT personnel, marketplaces, and small e-commerce businesses. So the rubric is quite easy to use. So what you need to do is just in less than 5 clicks upload your image, and you receive the generated product that straight can be imported to your e-commerce store. Yeah, why care about something else if you can just focus on what you best? Our business model is quite simple. So imagine for less than $45 per month, you can have both advanced IT personnel and marketing specialists. Sounds quite crazy. Our competition, Rubik enters the market with giants like Microsoft, Cloudsight, OpenAI, but both combining computer vision and generative AI, we provide an innovative solution for the affordable price. Our roadmap, so now we're dealing with an MVP and we're gathering the feedback to refine the platform. Our next step is to establish strategic partnership with the leading e-commerce platform, and finally, we are solving one step at a time. So we want to focus after this one on the other problems that the e-commerce has. So last speech for today. So as we're using this opportunity, we would like to ask for a joining accelerator to help us grow faster and receive mentorship from the experts. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Do you have any questions?
What is the initial segment of adopters? Do you have already known to you specifically?
Yes, so we talk to customers and we try to create our ideal customer profile. So for now, it's mainly those who are trying to own e-commerce solely on their own, because they have to do a lot of tasks.
But in geography that is accessible to you directly.
Yeah, so we are starting from our market, just like Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, and then we are trying to enlarge other European countries at least.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you showed impressive list of competitors. Can you tell exactly what value you're proposing to beat those competitors?
Of course, yes. So first of all, those large players like Microsoft or OpenAI, the prices are enormous. Like for Microsoft, you need at least 40,000 per month. That's only for the prices. So our first approach is pricing, and secondly, let's say with others, the way how they are working, it's not completely the same. So you can just upload an image and receive the product. It's a complex task, and you need to still provide a lot of manual inputs in the system.
So the pricing is your value.
Pricing and that is streamlined already.
I have a related question to pricing. So where is the model from and the data? Or how will it align with your pricing?
So for the pricing, if I understood the question correctly, you mean why such pricing?
How much will it cost to you to train that thing to make it acceptable to business?
All right, so to train these models, at least for now, we are paying, I will not mention how much, but we are using some open source platforms and databases already that exist, and yeah, we're collecting the data so we can then do the other things. But we are focusing on that, and that's included in the price already.
Okay, thank you. And the last question, do you know the acceptable level of accuracy for the output?
For now, we try to test that with different customers to see their feedback and let's say, are they satisfied with the results? So we see that they're satisfied at least for 50% only right now. But yeah, we are working hard to collect a bit more data and let's say focus now on just one niche, let's say electronics solely, because different products, different requirements.
Thank you. Thank you, Robert, for the pitch. And the next startup is Wonderwise.
So hi everyone. So like for other teams, it all started for us less than a week ago in Slack. So where we formed a team of 5, so basically 3 business guys, 1 video guy, and 1 hacker. However, that hacker had the exam session this week, so basically we had only hacker 5. So we had to figure out what we could come up with our current skill set without hacker, basically, and for this AI hackathon. So we started thinking about, started discussing about the topics that we're interested in, like education, and some interesting problems and solutions and ideas came up. So yeah, it's true, attention span is shrinking dramatically. Even Bill Gates says we have to use AI for the education. Kids these days are distracted so much, they even struggle to learn how to read, and it's obvious because they spend all of their time on these addictive social medias like TikTok and YouTube. And that results in basically dramatically decreased attention span. However, kids still these days prefer highly visual way of receiving information. So what we have dramatically decreased attention span, addictive content. So basically, there's no left space for kind of educational content online. So we believe by utilizing generative AI, we can transform educational content into personalized, intuitive, and engaging experience for preschool kids. So we called it WonderWise to answer every why it has ever had at any point in time. So how does it work? So basically, it's very simple. So it all started with the question why. Then we, for the APIs, we give a request to ChatGPT to create a visual story. Then we ask the Midjourney to create visuals and characters. We take voice out from Google Narrator or DAD. We animate everything with the DAD. And the question is, so how does it all combine to one beautiful story? That's our secret sauce. So basically, the magic happens in the back end. So the money, so our business model is a bit broken. Since we're very early in the stage, the current cost of creating this video is very high. However, we bet on advancement in technology, open source technologies, economies of scale that in the long term it will cost much less. Since we're running out of time, competition, everything is clear, we're much better than the competitors. So now, imagine if the kid asks how clouds appear. Isn't that cool?
So this video was the video you took?
Yes, actually, so let me quickly explain. So since our hacker was on exam session this week, so we obviously couldn't do all the magic in the back end and predict everything. So we tried to do this work manually to visualize what we actually could build, because our hacker promises that it might be possible to connect everything and have this one seamless product in the future. So we try to simply use all of our skills, video guy, other guys, so yeah, to simply show how it would look like. So and just to add one, sorry.
No, it's me.
Okay, so so it could start actually by typing or by kid asking in like voice. So how clouds appear in the sky, why the sky is blue, blah blah blah.
And how does the kid prompt?
Pajungiu. Reikia.
Kad
man atrodo viskas gerai. Nebent kažkaip kitaip, ne, kaip žiūrėt. Ne, jinai spičins. Ai, dabar jinai spičins. Taip, jinai spičins. Tai viskas čia buvo, ne? Bet, o jinai pasidalins ekraną, ne? Jo, ir čia leisit, ne? Ar? Jo. Nu, davai. Aš. Tiesiog, čia gali.
Okay, so if I'm answering honestly, so we wanted to go on a new challenge and form a completely new team here, and yes, we just wanted to try out something new. That we didn't forget our previous project. Still, it's somewhere there, and we're thinking about it. Thank you.
Why do you want to do this project?
Like this exactly. So firstly, because I personally remember I was this like my colleague Augustinas had this like Lithuanian expression "Matačiūnas." I was this like the kid who was like always curious in my early age and was constantly asking my parents, why is that, why is that, why is that? And my parents didn't always have time, knowledge, or even the creativity to quickly explain like difficult concepts. Since the education part in the early stages are very important, has huge impact on the kids' development in the future. So we simply decided to try it out. And the other answer is because it's AI Hackathon.
Okay, so at this point, obviously it is based on other solutions today, right? You're just connecting dots.
Exactly.
But in order for it to be a successful business, you need to have something of your own, right? So how are you planning to do it? Or you want to base your solution on OpenAI?
We want to base it at least as how we're thinking right now. We want to leverage the current technology, not to invent something new, because then we would need like 10 times more hackers who are not.
Perjungam dar vieną slaidą.
Thank you.
Just one last point. This week I went to my daughter's class, a bunch of 6-year-olds to tell about AI, and they all made the journey. And they were super impressed and rewarded and had a lot of fun. So it's definitely a potential.
Thank you kindly. Have a nice rest of the day.
So the next startup is Insider Chat, and we have Monica who's presenting online for us. Monica, can you hear us? Monica.
Okay, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
First of all, I'm a bit sorry I cannot share like the entire screen, so in the middle I have to switch from my presentation to my demo, because it's simply the way the Premiere works. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
The presentation.
Okay, we can see your screen. Yeah.
Okay.
You can start whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you very much. So first of all, I'm very glad I can to be here. There are amazing pitches, amazing ideas. And I'm Monica. I'm from Inside the Chat. And our goal is to change the user interfaces, basically to transform them in the way we can see it in this day and age. They should be way more empathetic and user focused. So the problem we face is that chatbots usually cannot replace humans for customer service. If you ever use, for example, a Revolut's chatbot, like it's pretty good, but you never get accomplished and everything you need with simply a chatbot. You usually need to call a person, and this labor is like very repetitive. It costs company a lot to keep this personnel, and most of this like repetitive tasks could be already automated by a good chatbot we can do it today. So our solution is to embrace the evolution of large language models and create a ChatGPT-enabled chatbot that knows the data provided by your company, and that would make interaction with an application way more intuitive. And I would like to share with you an example, the way you could possibly use, for example, Revolut or any other app in the future. Have a chatbot that's waiting for you. You can give him any questions like about your personal data, since we want to have a large language model on site. It will use your personal database to present data for you in an intuitive way. Meaning here is simply just give a query for chatbot, like ask how much I spent last week, or for example, how much I paid the grandmother a month ago, and it can answer all of these statements for you. So this is the way interfaces could look in the future. Currently, we have a text interface, but we are going also to include sound. So chatbot market is actually quite huge and pretty, I would say, saturated. Currently, it's 1 billion market. But the problem with it is like that most solutions are either rule-based or at early stages of AI, meaning that the current advancement is actually a revolution for chatbots, and it's a very good timing to enter this market. Our target audience is all businesses that use mobile applications and want to have a chatbot. We have two types of subscriptions. Like first of them is very limited, but
You have 15 seconds left.
so yeah, so users could start developing it. And our competition is huge, but we have advanced machine learning solution, a voice feature, and we can become a full user interface.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. And can I show demo, or did we run out of time?
If the jury, yes, you can see that.
Okay, just let me present. Share the screen again. So this is our app where we can try sending a request for a model that's running on the backend. You can simply ask, will my personal data will be deleted after I delete my account? And the only thing that the company had to do is to upload a text document with all terms and conditions. And the chatbot can already read everything and give you a response. Okay, internet is a bit slow. And here we go. Yes, your personal data. So this is how the interfaces will work in the future, and we hope to have this over voice to make apps more user-friendly. So thank you. Any questions?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Monica. Obviously, majority of the solutions that want to start using OpenAI or the companies, they have a problem of sharing the sensitive data with the model that they train, right? So how are you going to make sure that the sensitive data that the company owns and the clients wants to ask or, for example, visualize wouldn't be leaked?
Yeah, that's a very good question. It's also related to our roadmap. So at first, we're starting only with the terms and conditions, which are used without letting the ChatGPT train on them. That means it's private, but of course, we want to ensure service reliability and the privacy of data. And like in the upcoming month, we plan to have a model which is like we will take pre-trained weights, which were trained on 20 billion parameters, and we'll train it on in-house data and keep it on in-house. So each customer will have their own instance of the model which works with their data. So in this way,
again, if we don't have time, and last maybe a very short question, you say we. So who is your team?
Yeah, so currently I'm starting this alone, but I plan, of course, to have more people on board. So it's.
All right, just one more question. Why should we choose your chatbot instead of all the other chatbots? Is it because of how things will look like in the chatbot? Is that right?
Yeah, so far ChatGPT is the most advanced AI large language model, and it could provide us with fluent conversations, which did not happen before. And most of the chatbot companies, like in the industry, are pretty much like stuck on the old technology. Of course, they will be integrating ChatGPT, but it's a good time to move in and focus basically on a bit of like newer concept, not only providing information as a service, but also provide interaction with an app, interaction with the user's data, interaction with whatever is like on the back end of your app. So it can be a new way of communicating with data. Instead of clicking buttons, you could simply ask questions.
Thank you, Monica.
Okay.
Olga neprisijungusi normaliai. Kas beje, tai praleidžiam ją, darom kažką kitą.
Okay, so the next startup is Enerflow, and Camille, straight from Copenhagen, Denmark, will present his idea.
Hello, guys. So let me share my screen here. All right, are you guys seeing the slides?
Yes, we do.
All right, great. Hello, guys. I'm Camille. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Enerflow, an AI platform empowering everyone to build customized, automated, and integrated business systems in less than 60 seconds. The problem is that non-technical people have huge entry barriers for building digital businesses. And SaaS lock-in just makes companies get stuck in old and bad systems. And basically, digital tools require users to know exactly what they want and how they want it. But a lot of people actually don't. And this results in $3.4 trillion being wasted on tasks that could be automated by software every year. And this is only in the US. Technology is evolving extremely fast at an exponentially increasing rate. And this is basically causing a lot of non-technical people and small businesses being left behind. Right now, small businesses need to become more agile than ever if they want to survive. And what we see happening in the SaaS ecosystem is that systems become more and more specialized and basically compete in a zero-sum game. Now, it's all about connecting the right tools and not building the right tools. Our algorithms basically consist of 4 different parts. The product works in a way where the user types in all the information about the company, and the first algorithm suggests best of breed SaaS tools for this specific company. When you accept this SaaS stack, we basically deploy all that in a central architecture in the backend, analyze all the connections, and come up with hundreds of workflow automations that are specific to your specific business. While you then use your systems, our machine learning algorithm tracks exactly how your employees use your tools and come up with custom workflow automations real time to save you time every week. The more you use it, the more optimized it becomes. And of course, everything is through natural language. When you look at how the product and algorithms actually work, it's 5 parts. First, we map all your company processes, we analyze them, we redesign them so that they fit exactly to your situation, deploy everything automatically, and then continuously optimize everything. And on top of that, you also get cost optimization, single sign-on, and employee onboarding, all through AI and natural language. We're planning to launch the MVP in June 23 and continue fine-tuning our algorithms until December 24. Our business model is pretty simple. It's freemium for the users, but on the other side, we also charge all the SaaS providers for being part of our platform and getting access to customers. We are a team of 3 founders, myself with 6 years of process automation consulting experience, Eli with 6 years of API and automation development experience, and Manuel with 15 years of AI, machine learning, and NLP experience. Also part of 3 startups before with 1 exit. Our advisory board is in all the areas that we need, with Alex on the financing side, Dr. Annie on AI machine learning, and Marius and Jonathan in cloud architecture and legal and fundraising parts of the business. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Questions?
Thank you, Camille. How much integration into my internal systems would it require to make it work?
It's a bit hard to hear because of the audio quality, but I think you're asking about how many systems you can connect?
Not really. How much integration would you need to do to my internal systems in order to make it work?
Yes. So right now we're focusing on SaaS solutions, so everything that's cloud-based. And we're basically, we've kind of developed our own programming script on the backend, which makes it super easy and standardized to just really plug in systems. So you could basically just plug in HubSpot, plug in Airtable, and that connection in between is kind of where our AI also works and kind of comes up with these connectors automatically, where we simply just have to change a few small things. So that part we try to make as scalable as possible and as automated as possible.
Do you have any customer already who would be willing to try or is trying?
Yes, we have 2 paying customers already who we've deployed on the backend technology, since we haven't launched MVP yet with the front end. So 2 customers on the backend, and then we're onboarding 3 new ones on the MVP within a few weeks.
What type of businesses are they running?
So it's mainly agencies that we're targeting right now. So everything that's marketing agency, sales agency, content, everybody that's basically selling their own time as a service right now, because they see the largest overhead cost and can gain a lot of value from this very, very fast.
Camille, this is a hackathon, right? So what did you achieve during that?
We've developed the first version of the NLP technology that can interpret what the user requirements are and translate that into our integration code, which basically allows us to create workflow automations through natural language.
I wanted to ask also about all the products and SaaS solutions that you will suggest to companies after you looked at the processes. So how will you choose which products to basically suggest? Because there are lots of similar products on the market.
Yes, exactly. This is where we will get better over time, because the way that the algorithm works is that we have some predefined criteria that we're basing the suggestions on. But of course, the more companies we onboard on the platform, the more data we will get, and the more we fine-tune our algorithms to basically be able to look at these very small details and suggest the correct systems. For now, there's a lot of manual work involved in that in order to get the correct data to train those algorithms.
Thank you, Camille. So now we should have our last pitch, which is not here.
Greičiausiai, kad skipinom ją, nes jos nėra.
Okay, so let's Jean, can you hear us? I know that you're from the team.
А как я буду шерить? Я не смогу.
Very startup-y.
Olga, hello, can you hear us? Can you hear us, Olga?
Yes, we have a problem that I can't share now. Or if it is possible that I share from one.
Could you speak a bit louder?
Yeah, I think let's skip it. Nes jie nepasijungia, tiesiog nebus gerai. Let's skip it.
Olga, if you hear us, I'm super sorry, but we have to skip you because the technical side doesn't work. It seems like this. Maybe after break, we will still somehow try. So Camilla from Copenhagen was the last page. And now I want to do actually want to do something new. I know that all of you have your favorite startup that you liked most from this session. So,
Spausk ir tada prisakyk. Tai svarbu palauk, ne visi startuoliai. Kam reikia?
Reikia dar rašyti.
Jo, palauk, toj sekundę.
Jeigu neturi listo kažko, aš listą aš surašysiu. Arba duok man maiką, tu surašy geriau ir aš trumpai pasakysiu, kad...
Okay, so while my friend Deividas is finishing adding up the other startups that were presented today, I'm filling in the gap smoothly. So I'm really happy with the presentations that we have. We might have all of them afterwards. The indeed isn't always that super easy. And then you'll be able to vote for the startups that you have seen today. To make your voice and camera available for Slido or for StreamYard.
Good.
Seems to be working now.
Yes.
So I needed to do it for you to vote. Wonder why it looks like so far.
Jo, reikia sustabdyti šitus greitai ir tada paleidžiu.
All right, I think there is a winner. Wonder Wise, congratulations. Sorry, there's no prize for that, but you are always lucky. And yeah, that's all about the pitches. So now Jerry will have some time to discuss who is going to be the winner, and the next will be another panel discussion. So yeah, I want to invite Karolina, the host of this panel discussion.
Hi everyone. Great pitches. We really enjoy that, and I guess now we're going to talk about AI job market and how it's changing. What are the recent events that make the job market change? And I'm Karolina. I'm board member of AI Association of Lithuania, and I have amazing members right next to me. So let's start with Jeff. Jeff is a staff decision scientist at Intel, also board member of AI Association of Lithuania, Deividas. Deividas, I would have to tell, I don't know, for 20 minutes all the titles I know about you, but let's start with the president of AI Association of Lithuania, staff, data scientist at Intel, and head of data science at Turing College. Same thing. Data science. Okay. And we have something from the other side. We have Deividas, who's a talent sourcer, a career coach, and who's looking for talents, AI talents as well for years now. So basically the goal of this discussion is just to take different perspectives from the educators, from practitioners, individual contributors, and from someone who is looking for those talents. So I want to begin with a small funny game. I will ask you one question, and I expect the answer to be one sentence. And think all of you, and don't change it afterwards, okay? So what is AI job market? One sentence. And whoever is ready, you can start from the mic. It's yours.
I think the job market is overcrowded because a lot of people are trying to get into the AI right now.
Okay. Recruiter's perspective, interesting.
That was what is AI job market, right? That's the question.
But you know, the answer is, it can be any.
That's a meta question. So for me, the AI job market is all the technologies that are related, like the job market of all the roles working in all of the technologies that are related to some product solutions that have AI as a component. So this would include, that's a common now. This would include everything from people in SRE to people doing prompt engineering, if that's related to in the end having a solution that incorporates AI.
What is the record of the data longest sentence? We might even break this now, but thanks.
I'll take a controversial stance, and this is not yet my sentence. AI job market is a market for applied scientists, statisticians, mathematicians, engineers, reincarnated with a different name.
Okay. Thanks. And that raised me another question, actually, Jeff. What strategies can educators employ to bridge the gap between theoretical knowledge and practical skills in AI? Because you mentioned this, practical side of AI.
This is a very difficult question. What skills?
But basically, how to combine practical and theoretical sides of AI.
Excellent. Very nice. I've been thinking about it a lot for the last few days. So now we have large language models being talked about pretty much everywhere. ChatGPT, Llama, that was leaked from Meta, etc. And people are talking about how this technology is going to change the world. And that has happened before. It has happened with Metaverse, it has happened with blockchain, it has happened in 2012 when Jeffrey Hinton with his team from Toronto University won ImageNet, and they were acquired by, their full team was acquired by Google to develop artificial intelligence solutions within Google. And what often people try to do when an exciting technology comes out is to treat it as a hammer looking for a nail. Product management rule is that you always start with a problem and then you look for solutions. And often what you'll find is that those solutions might not necessarily be a large language model. It might be just regex, that will solve most of your problems. It might be BERT, which is a deep learning model released for Google. So you have to be practical, start with a problem, and then think of what is the optimal cost-effective solution, if that answers the question.
Yes, and I saw that was.
And to both take the opposite perspective of Jeff, both the most famous AI applications today, ChatGPT and Matačiūnas, they did not start with any problem that they are solving. No product idea. I think Deividas specifically said in one of the interviews that we were not thinking in this traditional product sense. They just wanted to make cool technology, and then fastest growing startup ever. So how can you explain this?
So since I've mentioned statisticians, a success rate of a startup is about 1 to 3% of the whole population. So the fact that they succeeded is a massive outlier. It is an inspiring outlier, and there is definitely something to learn there, but it is not outlier nonetheless.
Okay, and you both mentioned the elephant in the room, LLMs. ChatGPT, OpenAI, generative AI. So I'm just referencing to all the words that I know, just everyone to be on the same page. But basically, I wanted to ask Deividas about the changes that occurred because of LLMs, aka ChatGPT appeared, and I know that you have interest yourself in this topic. So could you share like maybe companies are hesitant to hire ML engineers, for example, or something like that?
Well, I started looking into ChatGPT specifically since mid-February, when it kind of became like everyone started looking into it. And of course, as a talent source or headhunter, as you call it, I'm forced to find creative ways and different ways of finding people because like, the old searches are not really working, right? With the ChatGPT, I think the biggest revolution for recruitment is that you can be more creative. If you set up prompts, like if you create those personas, imagine that job descriptions are the most awful thing in the recruitment process to start with, right? You read something that has no real meaning. Someone is taking the same information for years and years, and because other managers were using it without actually sitting and challenging the job description, the process, what is needed, what is not needed. Now imagine if a manager would have a conversation with ChatGPT and ChatGPT would ask a bunch of questions like what is the reason to have a position, what is needed specifically. Then you can take all of that information and then apply and turn into a job description. And of course, job description is not a job ad. That's two different things, right? And then you can become more creative with the very clear message of what you're looking for. And also, we need to have in mind one really major issue with job descriptions in general, that sometimes they're really gender biased. So, a lot of international companies, they have to run those job descriptions before posting so that it kind of identifies whether that's more targeting men or women, for example, with language, the words that you're using. So ChatGPT automatically can help with that, to make it more kind of neutral, or it can be targeting specifically the niche of the persona that you're using, right? Because marketers are using personas to target with ads with everything. Maybe we can do the same way for recruitment as well.
Just like you mentioned that ChatGPT can be used to rewrite your job ad to be more gender neutral. However, I recently read a study that they tried to do that, and I don't remember if that was ChatGPT specifically, but they asked like question and please respond as a Democrat or please respond as a Republican. What they found is that the model, even given these instructions, the model is not capable to do that. Like a lot of the large language models are not capable right now to do. So I wonder if that really makes, like, if we are not just fooling ourselves and like, oh, please make it inclusive and it's like gender neutral, but the model might end up still writing it in like a very biased way. I don't know who to give the mic to.
Jeff.
Yeah, so in the spirit of making if our problem is making it gender neutral, there are solutions that have existed before ChatGPT in the spirit of records. So one of them is gender decoder that I have used a lot in the past, where there have been studies conducted by psychologists and sociologists that have collected a lot of different job descriptions, looked at for which words attribute to masculine job description or feminine job description, and they have created a kind of old role-based tool that you can apply to any text and it will tell you how much it is to one side or the other. I actually use it a lot myself when I write job descriptions. So that's about gender report. I have another comment, if I may, but I could also pass back the microphone. So you mentioned a very interesting point that job description is not a job ad, and that's a very interesting statement, because when I approach recruitment or hiring in the space of AI talent, data science talent, scientific talent, whatever, I believe hiring starts a lot earlier than you write the job description. If you're a hiring manager who has kind of skill in that, usually you work with the community, integrate yourself into the community, try to understand what drives people, what people want to work on, and already have those connections. And you treat it as a funnel of users in the product, where you convert people from one stage to another. And the job description is just one stage of that funnel, where you want to kind of talented people to read it and be like, this is the job I want to go for.
That's actually a really good point. I think that companies will be so much more successful in recruiting very difficult to find roles if the leaders of the business or the managers, they would be active, let's say even on LinkedIn or other places, be part of the community, create content, share tips, talk about the team, talk about the product, talk about the wins, challenges, because when you are visible, people are coming to you and they will want to be part of your team. Transparency and creativity, I think, are really important right now. And people are, especially after COVID, their values are really clear. They shifted in what they want, what they look for in the job, and having transparent companies that are, that stand for, let's say, improving the world, have a bigger chance of getting really high level people rather than those who are just ruining our health, and because the values have changed drastically. So, and talking about what you said about the job description. So, for example, if a company has a job description post or a role post on LinkedIn, and then maybe a recruiter or manager says, "Hey, we have an opening. Here's a link to a LinkedIn role." It doesn't do anything. You could sit down with ChatGPT and create like a story or like a 2-3 paragraph information, of an insight of what it's about. So that would get clicks, likes, and it spreads. It's free advertising as well, and it shows that you care about putting a little bit more time into attracting the right people as well.
Okay. Let's do another controversial thing. I will tell a sentence, and you will comment based on your experience. The sentence sounds like it's very hard to find your first job in AI as a junior, and it is very easy to, following David's comment, you get a lot of messages in LinkedIn when you are a senior, let's say, ML engineer.
Should I start? So I would say, I don't want to say I know how juniors feel right now, but I try to help out people who are just starting to look for jobs. One thing that I noticed is there's a bit of people moving, since AI is hot right now. People from related fields are moving into it. That kind of raises the bar. Why should they hire somebody who just knows barely some data science, and then can hire somebody who knows engineering pretty good, and then the same amount of data science? So that's just one observation.
Thomas, maybe you have something from your experiences. I don't know, but I imagine you write those LinkedIn messages, or you don't.
Yeah, I mean,
so
at the moment I'm not necessarily actively sourcing, because I'm kind of moving into coaching more than training. But when I used to do that up until March, so I'm that annoying person who reaches out to you on LinkedIn and tries to be honest and creative and personal, right? I think that's important. But coming back to the question, I think it's tricky. When I was working in the UK, for example,
Expedia, Deividas, companies that are looking for example, big data people, not necessarily AI, but I was focusing on big data people. It's tricky for someone who does not necessarily have the experience, to step into the team, because we don't necessarily have the very junior roles open to public, because they would rather suggest those roles to someone internally who wants to go from one team to another, to grow together and so on. However, if companies are engaging in, for example, going to universities, start building partnerships and meetups and kind of find the best students, so they kind of try to plan ahead, right? And then it's a little bit easier to invite those people into the business and expose them to the business.
Okay, thank you.
So I think there are two sides of the question. One is what should people who are just starting do, and the second one is what for people who get messages on LinkedIn.
Not necessarily to do, you might disagree with this statement.
Okay, so we'll start with those who are just starting and want to get into AI, data science, whatever you want to call it. First, there is a distinction to make that there are two types of AI job. One is deep mind OpenAI type of job, which is extremely competitive to get into, and only a small piece of a percentage of actually people who get in there. And the rest of it is other data science job, like the job I do at LinkedIn, where you do get to use AI, but you probably will not develop the next large language model. So we have to be realistic about that. Now, how do you get in any of these roles is one, you naturally have to be a sponge for information because you're just starting. So you have to find ways to absorb as much of information as possible about the industry that you're trying to break into. And there are two ways to do it. So, and these are advice that you probably heard a lot, very often, but I still do not see people do them enough. So that's one of them is just start doing something, like a project on your own, set yourself a goal, build something, and you'll gain experience that way. And another one is networking. People hear it always, but people do not do it enough. When I was doing my master's, my undergraduate, and my PhD, I went to every single conference possible where there was a DeepMind, where there were people from Amazon Research, where there were people from other companies alike, because I get to speak to them about what kind of problems they're solving, what is interesting to them, etc., etc. And you can do that same thing from here. You can go, and you don't necessarily have to go to like major mainstream conferences, I don't know, Web Summit or whatnot. There are actual conferences that are dedicated to AI researchers that happen in Europe. Often they happen in the United States, but they also happen in Europe. So there's like AI Stats, ICLR, ICML. Europe does not really happen in Europe, but there are also summer schools. We did summer school last year, I believe, in Vilnius, where we invited people from DeepMind and Google to come visit. There are also summer schools happening in the UK, the Sheffield Gaussian Process Summer School. We have always a presence from Amazon research people there, like Neil Lawrence, who's the head of AI there, and they are just open there to chat with you and share their knowledge with you. So just use those opportunities and go there. Also, please exploit the power of LinkedIn, not only when you're looking for a job, but there's a lot of incredible content, because right now, people are sharing everything that they know on LinkedIn. I mean, that's how I started learning about ChatGPT. I mean, I know that everyone knows more about AI here than I, but also follow the right people. Look at what you see on your feed, because you can remove a lot of junk and start following the right people. Have purpose. So when you network with pick 4 or 5 people rather than talk to everyone. The conversation matters, and it's not about who you know, but who remembers you. And my biggest tip for anyone looking for a job in any field, if you are approaching LinkedIn via email, don't reply. The logic behind that is that sometimes people who are sending you those messages have never seen your profile. So when you get a message, you think, oh my God, I'm so flattered, they care about me. They don't. About 95% of cases, you will never receive a follow-up message. And if you reply to a message like that, you're wasting your time. So if they really want to talk to you, they will find a way to follow up, they will find a way to connect, and that's the process which you are more have chances of actually succeeding somewhere. and typically that is done by agency people. So just be careful.
Okay, and we have 5 minutes left, and I will do this again. So one statement. In terms of AI, the tools and technologies are here, already out in the world, accessible, but in terms of companies' cultures, we are not there. Agree, disagree, any emotions that rises to you?
What do you mean by you're not there?
Oh, that's a big question. Yeah, well, actually, this is very open-ended question. Basically, this is based on my experience and the struggles that I've been through. We can have any tools. Last week I created my first model asking ChatGPT to write the code for me, for example. So basically, we have a lot of things to pick from, but we're still not that successful in utilizing it and getting value out of those things.
Okay, I'll start. I don't think you can ever be there, because the better you are, the more problems you see that you can explore and solve. This is this follows the curve of the Dunning-Kruger effect. And if you are at the very start, you think, oh, everything's great. Like, I coded the model, but it's fine. And if you are in very advanced level, you pretty much see like very important problems, very like large gains in every direction that you look.
So coming back to culture thing, and AI field and the career of AI, maybe not necessarily the tools, one thing that I'm really passionate about is the distinction between people leadership track and individual contributor track. This is something that we have adopted at Vinted, but we still have a lot to learn because there's a strong heritage in our market that for you to grow in your career, you have to become vadovas. And this is a bit of a disaster because when you become vadovas, you spend most of the time in meetings. And that means you do not grow in your technical capability. And I'd say that to do advanced problems, to really solve advanced technical problems, you have to have that separation between people leadership and individual contributor. This is something that we do have at Vinted. We're still learning how for it to work. But I really wish for that to be adopted more widely in Lithuania, because that means that you'll have people leaders who do know how to create the environment for you to grow technically, and you will have strong ACs who will grow, walk that path, and then be able to share that more widely with the community. That has been adopted quite well within the United States and already for more than half of a century. But we as a community here in Lithuania still have a lot to learn in terms of that process and management of employees and sharing the specialization of either managing people or growing your technical skills. Having said that, IC does not mean that you do not have to deal with people anymore. So sometimes engineers believe that, oh, I just want to work on the back end and I don't want to work with people. This is not true. The more senior you become as an IC, the more you have to deal with people, because a lot of problems in the organization are not tech problems, they're people problems. So that's my beautiful.
And you just go back to my statement that technologically we are more advanced than Lovis. Any more secrets you can tell from the talent?
I see, when I say I see, I mean individual contributor. So that's someone growing on the path of just technical skill, not people leadership.
Quickly on the culture, so I can only speak from the talent acquisition HR perspective. It depends on the company, but there are still companies that actually HR is the one who kind of implementing a lot of cultural strategies within the business. And ironically, you don't need an education to be an HR person or talent acquisition. And this is a really big challenge because I don't necessarily know a lot of people within my industry who would be looking to ChatGPT, talking about it or doing something about it, whether that would help gazillion times, with any issues that we have. You were asking about some tips?
Secrets that anyone can use from HR.
From HR? Okay, so this was one thing that I was doing when I was living in the UK. I relocated there, having no network, no friends, no nothing. And when you start looking for a job in London, it's a really competitive market. And it's a really different culturally market because no one tells you how it is, for sure. They wrap everything in a shiny paper. Some of you, I'm sure, know of that. My strategy was to be brutally honest with myself and be myself. So I would be going through interviews and I would look into interviews at two street. You might be shooting yourself, during an interview, during the process, but you have to have space to ask a bunch of questions. Not 2 minutes at the end of the interview. And I think that companies and managers have the responsibility. They need to be pitching the business and all the insights about the team, the culture, and all the benefits that you can get that are not mentioned in the job ad or job description, rather than, oh, what do you know about us? To that one as well, what do you know about me? Like, I have a lot of information about myself online. So if you ask me to do like a really long process preparation for 2 hours for one interview, you as a recruiter or manager, you have to do the same for every candidate. So asking the questions of one really good strategy that I was using at the end of any interview that I would have, I would ask, so based on our conversation, what's the feedback that you have for me? This is extremely important because in a lot of cases, they will never tell you the feedback in general. I will not get it. And then you can actually see how they phrase and how they communicate. And either it becomes a red flag, and maybe that might not be the company for me. In other cases that would work. And also, before you apply to any job, try to connect with people from the business. Follow those companies. Engage with their content, because the trick is that if a company is using LinkedIn and have LinkedIn recruiter seats, the people in their team, they can easily identify people who follow the company, and they can narrow down the search based on the criteria that is necessary. So if in that case, you will be ahead of anyone else within the pool that you're looking for.
Thanks, and that resonates very well for something I wanted to tell you. Again, based on my experience, I mentor junior data scientists who are looking for their first job, and I see that a lot of managers are looking for data pleasers, not data scientists. And I want to wish and tell you that we are also, as data scientists, we are also shaping the culture, we are shaping the market. So just be brave, ask for the feedback, ask questions, and don't forget that you are equal parts in this side. So thanks a lot. Thank you.
And and I'm giving the mic to Deividas.
Yeah, actually, we'll try to have the last pitch.
You do?
Yeah.
Olga, ne?
Hello.
Let me fix the sound.
Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
So start whenever you're ready.
Hello, I'm Olga, an architect from Architrack. Выключи, пожалуйста. Architects in discussion see or hear the same, but there are one. Architects in discussion see or hear. 1 minute. sorry. Architects in discussion see or hear the same, but everyone think that can understand differently and use different lexicon and tasks. It creates a misunderstanding. To clarify all things use a lot of time. Mistakes sometimes costs a lot. The solution is AI tool for architects that describes architectural elements, bringing clarity to discussion and documentation in early stages. My AI tool already works. Developed AI detects and describes openings, whether it is door, window, railing, glass facade, then it's type, style, material. Our target audience are architects, and we have European market for us about 24 millions, and so compared with the competitors, my AI is architecture focused, include expert knowledge and quality can be integrated into another program like 3D. So you see possibilities of my AI plugin. There is searching platform for 3D program. So many folders for searching, less clicks and more creativity. From collected pictures, we can also create 3D virtual reality. Always can check reconstructive building condition. Also, as I plugin detect errors in the 3D program, so we keep attention on valuable things that helps create correct documentation and meet your deadline. And our progress that we develop business model, concept, and product and testing. And next, we want to model training and market research, also prototype development and entering market. So we shape our tools and therefore our tools shape us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Olga. Now we have some questions.
Olga, thank you so much for the presentation. Obviously, is it me or you're trying to catch up a lot of problems in one place, and maybe you should begin with one existing very big problem that you could solve pretty easily. Did you hear me well?
Yes, yes.
For example, you just showed one of the use case detection of problems, right? By fire exits, for example. So maybe you should begin with stage one and do only this very good. What do you think about it?
Yes, the first one is can you maybe repeat the question? Maybe I.
Okay, what is the most important problem for architects which you want to solve now?
One of the biggest maybe opportunity it is about detecting problems or right things in the stages that in the early stages, and one of the biggest maybe approaches are like software plugin, because architects use it every day and very many hours. But communication also important. Whether they are discussing in the room, or they communicating in other ways, but they need right information in the right time.
Thank you, Olga. Time is up. So this was the last pitch. One applause. And now let's show the slides.
Yes.
Yes. So now we'll have a break till 3. Yeah. So we have some foods here. We have some snacks. We have some drinks. So let's enter and see you here at 3 a.m.
Ilgai tas iPhone? Ai, prijungtas, galvoju, jau 2 valandas čia transliuoja.
Tai gal ir būtų ištransliavęs.
Nu, kaip matot, kaip stebė tas tasko užduotis, kaip žmonės pasidarė.
Ten kiek užduotėlės duomenų mokslo, tai geras konkursas, daug komandų. Bus kažkiek nusipirkimų, nes ten yra kaip dalį rezultatą mato iš anksto, dalį rezultatą dabar nerodo, rezultatų nerodoma paskutinį minutę. Gerai, ir paskui pasuot, kad gerai, stavas ir ne taip gerai sprendimas.
Šiaip, labai, mums ten toli šį konfliktėmą, bet jau čia galų dėl pasirmanį čia, ar yra čia? Vietoje. Su antraukė, jisai matyti tai, ką mes darom. Mes Europos pateisime. AI per lonkas vaikštom, kad surasime kaip ir galą. Norėtųsi, kad jis įpareigotų lonką, ne tik pinigėlių. Tas toks kaip padariau ar viską? Jeigu tas programą
Taip, reikia, kaip sakant, to legacy dalyko.
Visiems man kažką šiaip reikia. Ir tu irgi toks, kad net neimsi. Su Sauliu. Kaip ir
Kažką pasidarė, tada atslūgo tas...
Ne, mes pasidarėme, bet mes susidarėm, kad atsiskaitysim jiem už tai, ko pasidarė, bet susidarėm, atsiskaitėm, sako, aš tiesiog dabar pats nežinau, ką noriu daryti, sako, kad Ispaniją ten važiuoti noriu. Tas labai nežinomas veras šitoje telefonė. Sako, man kažkas stabilumo reikia, davai laikom, kad jie kokies pagalbos. Radom kitą telefoną, kur kaip ir pasikadrina viskas.
So 2 minutes, and we will come back and we will continue the awards ceremony. 2 minutes.
Everybody, let's come back and let's do the information.
Jo, ai perjungi čia irgi idėjai? Ai, jo, idėjas. Bet orgą reikia išimti.
Skaidrės, tai praktiškai pačius announcements paskelbti ir teismas.
Tuoj, taip.
Okay, so now we arrive to the point, the most interesting part and the most fun part of this event. So obviously we have the awards. So this year we had two types of events. The typical that time happening data type competitions, the AI task challenges, and just a small reminder. So this year we had 24 registrations. We created 3 data type tracks. 2 was proposed by our association members of Artificial Intelligence Association, and obviously we wanted to encourage folks to give it a try to learn skills to adapt typical problems, and actually what's happened is had a huge success. So the first task which was proposed by acknowledging the stories was about natural language processing and the classification of financial text data. And we received 14 teams which submitted over 160 submissions in total. And during that whole week, folks participated. We had some preliminary results. So as in capital competitions, there's a typical there's a public leaderboard which is providing only a small percentage of the data, which is visible during the whole week, how the participants happening. And finally, today we could announce all the private data set results. And what was done already.
Yeah, so congratulations, Steve Crown.
And the usual context, because in the rare case we have the time between 2 teams, and actually this is quite a rare challenge that 2 teams managed to achieve quite an exciting 97% of the testing accuracy, and we are really glad to say that one of the members, so Karolina, is here. So let's give a talk, invite one of the organizers who provided the task problem, and one of the team to take the prize. Unfortunately, the second team did not manage to join online, but we will divide and split the link. Yes, but at least the medium answer the actually. So the second task and the second group of tasks was proposed by our members. They were international, and it had the product delivery classification task, which is also involved launch of the task combinations. And from that, a lot of teams, actually 8 teams, participating in this second task group, and there's quite accurate high scores during the public validation. But well done. With us, we announce the winners of the
winners are Eagle Mountains again.
So actually, basically two of the three competitions in our this year's competitions, and we, since we do not have a online, let's see.
I have a question about the previous one. So I've noticed that the private schools are better than public schools. How did that happen?
Well, keep in mind that the public schools are only one of the really small percentage of the data set on which we are testing. So actually, since we have the one splitting, there might be a really small percentage of the testing data, the accuracy are not as excellent as in the private testing.
That just shows how good we are at generalizing to unseen data.
Okay. And for the third task, which was proposed by us, the Artificial Intelligence Association of Lithuania, we had a design task, and from that we needed to identify how the causal relationships are visible in the data. And during the week, we had a lot of competition in this third task as well. And from that, we had quite a huge competition, but the results are.
And the winners, Untitled AI. Congratulations.
We have the winners in the audience. This is some of them are the winners. So we will give all of the badges for the winners directly. So for that, we are really welcome and really enjoy this awards of the AI Astra. Now I would like to continue and invite Karolina to continue with all of you with the AI startup pitches and this strategy.
Thank you. May I have also Deividas?
Yes, and now it's time to give someone this heavy card, and Katrina will the winner.
Yes, so again, thank you everybody for being at this hackathon, also the startup track. This was the very first time we were trying this out, and hopefully not the last one. I really appreciate everybody who were a part of this. So again, kudos to you guys, and we really hope that even after this hackathon, you will stick to your idea and you will continue developing it, right? So we had some time to contemplate with the jury, and the winner of today's 2,000 euros prize powered by Website Fusion is WonderWise. So, guys, come to the stage and please come to the stage. So guys, you can share a little bit how you're feeling and what is next for you for your.
Usually we go party, that's secure, and then, yeah, this is okay, party. No, but seriously,
Yeah, so really, I thought that because of the lights and then from the team, we started while we were participating here, while we were racing, while we were messing up the time. And most of us also do not meet people that want to try to do something fun. And really, not mentioned, we're very confident. So we want to meet the people, we want to meet hackers, and we're like to join.
Thank you so much and congratulations once again. Guys, I hope this is a start for something that will develop later on. All right, and now we also have, I want to invite Andres from the Baltic Sandbox Ventures to tell you a little bit more about another prize that we have.
Yeah, guys, once again, thank you so much for participating. Obviously, even this week was totally worth the time because it was very interesting to see all the ideas, to see all the teams, all the problems you want to solve. And at this point, obviously, everything starts with the idea. Hackathons are for that idea to be solved, to say the least. But usually it's only at the very, very beginning, and we as focus on solutions. We want to support you at this journey from the very beginning. And that's why we do have, let's not call them prizes, we do have grants that we want to deploy for the very early stage solutions. And those grants are being brought together with innovation, let's say, program. What we do during the innovation program, if you want to pursue, develop an idea, we help you on every stage, and it means also on the strategic level, on all the other levels, for you to basically become a startup and be ready to start fundraising from business angels or from acceleration funds. So at this point, we decided also to issue a grant or issue a grant for the team that we see as a prospective one, as we see as a team that might actually make an impact on the problem field, and we would like to extend an invitation to get €15,000 grant and incubation program to the team named Deividas. If you're actually going to do obviously, it's conditional, but we will have a talk about it. It's okay, you should be signing the right. Congratulations. It's not a budget for working. It's a budget for developing, and I really would like you to do this project to come up with. Okay? Like, you really know what that was? At the past, honestly, super shocked. I think really what drives us is just, I also mentioned a lot of times about having fun, but that's really hard for us. I think for every member of the team, just that we feel it's our thing to do. We feel that we don't want anything else to do. We just want to work on interesting ideas, develop, solve interesting problems, develop interesting solutions, and in the meantime have a lot of fun. I think that's what we achieved during this week. Basically formed a completely new team, and I think we had a super great synergy, so I'm super happy for this completely new team. I think I think something awaits in the future. Sorry,
Yeah, this is really crazy. I did not expect this. I think the main key point that I take from this happening is that try to form a team that has many different strengths. Each of us have our own professions, but we are good at it. This friend is a video producer, I'm a full stack developer. I can understand how this idea could work in the back end. My friend is in finance, development, marketing. Combining all of these strengths,
our friend Nathan Deividas, let's not forget.
And our friend Deividas, he's also one. I believe that combining those strengths together can make an impact, and we are happy that people recognize this and we won this prize. So thank you very much.
I'm also grateful for this award. This is my first hackathon as well, and to be the first man and to meet these great men that know what they're doing, that you can rely on each other. I'm really grateful to you guys, and from joining this week. Everyone knows that AI is about the video editing industry, and with this, you wonder why first time I'm also try to do something so worthwhile, just in one sentence, with one question that told us why something the agents had. So thank you very much, and we hope that we go further and succeed.
Thank you so much. At this point, always there are a few more teams. We as a firm really want to talk to you guys. We want to understand more, and there's some other ways that we will also extend something very similar. At this point, 15,000 is just the beginning. We can finance up to $500,000. We are co-investing. We have a very strong network of friendly funds that we invest together. So we are here to support the deep tech and life science. So if you have ideas, try to pursue them, and we are here to help you. So good luck, and have an amazing weekend, everyone. Thank you so much.
So that's all the things to the end. This event is also coming to the final phases. And obviously, I would like to especially thank for all the organizers and the folks. I'd like to also thank the board and Deividas, the Griciūnė is workers without whom definitely this event would not be able to happen. And without our partners as well, the ISM, the faculty advisors, partners who provide some sponsorship about cyber-social rules diffusion, it would not be possible to organize this well. But nevertheless, I think that we extended our event from the smaller hackathon to the larger one, and we aspire for even bigger events in the next year. So thank you. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, especially thanks to you for starting the hackathons and association. One more applause for us. Thank you all. Have met good, great networking right now.
Turiu klausimą.
Dabar kol kas yra, muzika tai jau galim tvarkėti, nuomonės.
Gal žinai, kaip šį transliaciją?
Tuoj, jums pirmą skaitau. Tuoj, sekundę, jums pirmą.
Okay.